Another Christmas has been and gone, the year 2020, and we are moving into the year 2021. And it's time for the Christmas tree to come down, and I would like to share a vision that I had. It was probably about 20 years ago. My husband and I were travelling around at the time. He was working nearby to where we were staying, 100 metres away. It was very close. And anyway, this particular morning I was awake, and normally when you have a cuddle, the lady always gets, her shoulder underneath the man's arm and keeps nice and warm. But anyway, this particular morning, I actually had my arm around him, and anyway, I started feeling this ache in my heart, and it was really strong, and it just got worse and worse. My heart was just aching and aching, and I didn't want him to go to work, and I thought, this is silly. He's only works 100 metres down the road, and I can go visit him anytime I want to. And this just got worse and worse, this aching. I just didn't want to let him go. I didn't want him to go to work. I didn't want him to leave. He was not aware of any of this. And so this aching in my heart just kept on going. And then all of a sudden, God said to me, this is how I embraced my son before he left heaven. And then I had this vision of, I've got this picture here. A lot of people have probably seen it, and where Jesus welcomes people into heaven. And but anyway, this vision that I had was of God embracing his son before he left heaven, and I could feel a fraction of what God was feeling, and I looked, and I saw an angel, and it was a girl angel, and she was young. If you want to talk about earthly years, I would have said she was about 18 years old, and she was very sinless, and she was standing there. I didn't see any other angels, but this young angel was standing there, and she sort of had her head to the side like this, like as if, why is the Father, she just didn't understand, and she was looking at the Father and the Son, and she had this bewilderment about her as to what was going on. I had never really thought about the descension of Jesus. We've always thought about Christmas and his birth, but I had never thought about the time that the Son of God left heaven and was united with the seed of Mary. Hebrews 2:17. For this reason he had to be made like them, fully human in every way, in order that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in the service of God, and that he might make atonement for the sins of the people. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And I started to cry, and my husband woke up. I suppose, I'm not sure whether he was awake or asleep. I was awake when all this happened, and he's like, oh, what's wrong? And I said, oh, nothing, I'm okay. I couldn't even tell him at that time. And for 3 days I just cried. Every time I looked at him I'd cry, and and he was like, oh, are you all right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And I did tell him, and anyway, the love that was in my heart for those 3 days, I love people anyway. I always have loved people. I think the best of people. I don't think the worst of them. And I could have loved anybody. It was just the love of God flowing out of my heart towards mankind. And anyway, so that's my little gem. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.